The US will be the world's top oil producer by 2016, so says the International Energy Agency in its latest World Energy Outlook. But that'll only last a few years before the Middle East regains its dominance. With me now is the IEA Executive Director, Maria Van Der Hoeven. Very nice to see you again, Maria, and welcome to the Reuters studios. You know, I want to come on to the US in just a sec, but I want to start with the price. You have said 2 decades on, we're going to stay nominally at about $128 a barrel. That does not smack of an energy crisis at all, right?
Well, the point is that prices are always also of a concern to many people, not only to politicians, but to everybody. And I think it's important that we realize that whatever the price is, prices that are 80, 60, 50 barrels a dollar, those days are gone.
Okay,
yes.
Those days are gone. But 128...
It's a lot of money.
But 2 decades from now, there were some people who would say 160, 170 would surely be a more normal price.
Of course, things depend. What we take into account is that resources are going to be exploited, that production is going to move forward, that technology is going to move forward, things like that, and that would keep prices like at the edge that we have now mentioned in our new World Energy Outlook.
One critical piece of this is your call on OPEC not to stop investing.
Yeah.
How much needs to be invested? What scale are you looking at?
A lot of money. Many, many billions need to be invested. And the point is that although, as you mentioned, the United States are going to produce a lot of light tide oil, that's true. And that will mean that their imports will decrease in the next decades. That's true as well. But the other point is that there will be a plateau on this light tide oil, and at the same time we'll see that not only production but export in the Middle East countries will move forward. And there's only one reason for that. That is the enormous demand for oil in Asian countries. China leading the way first, then India will come, and then there will be the other Asian countries. So whatever happens, it's absolutely necessary that giving the maturity of some fields in the Middle East and giving the enormous thirst for oil, that the investments will be there, and we are talking about tenfolds of $1 billion.
Who's not doing enough in terms of investment?
It's not a matter of not doing enough, it's a matter of giving the right signals. And the right signal is, yes, within the United States there is this light tide oil revolution, but look beyond.
Okay, who's not giving the right signals?
Nobody is not giving the right signal. But that's exactly the reason why I try to give the right signal now. What happens in the United States, perfect, as far as the United States go. But look beyond, look at the rest of the world, and look beyond 2020.
Yeah.
And then again, it's only the Middle East that has easy oil. There is Iraq with easy oil. There is spare capacity in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, but there need to be investments.
All right, let's talk specifically about the US. It rises to 2020 and then comes off.
More plateaus, yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask how. So we're not going to see a steep decline in any sense.
We don't expect a steep decline, given the resources they are there, and also, of course, given the situation that they would like to manage to have a more or less independence on oil as much as they can.
How big a variable is technology? And can technology save US production from plateauing?
Technology is awfully important. It's technology and the prices. These two together see to it that at this moment these kind of resources that a few years before were thought not to be able to be exploited are going to be exploited in an economic viable way. So technology brings the answer, prices bring the answer together. And there's another item I would like to mention about the US situation. They did an awful lot on fuel efficiency. And this altogether brings down their need of oil. So it's quite clever what they're doing.
Cheap energy, and thanks to cheap energy, the US's share of energy-intensive industry looks a lot better than Europe and Japan. How bad is it going to get for Europe and Japan in terms of competitiveness?
Well, the competitiveness is of course dominated by a number of factors. It's the price of energy, it's labor, and it's capital costs. And the price of energy in the United States is low. The price of gas and the price of electricity is quite lower than it is in Europe and in Japan. And that will have a consequence for energy-intensive industry, especially when we're talking about petrochemicals, because in petrochemicals almost up to 70% of the cost is on energy. So what really needs to be done is that Europe and Japan look into the situation, use their energy in a more efficient way, and see to it that also their production processes are more efficient than they are now.
I want to finish where I started with the lack, it seems, in 20, 30 years of any kind of energy crisis. And I see a note from Greenpeace today that again warns of danger levels of global warming. I mean, it seems to be the only thing we really need to worry about is we've got so much of this stuff, is what we do with it, and we should keep most of it in the ground.
It wouldn't be a bad thing to keep some of it underground, especially when we're talking about coal. But let's not forget, when you look into the whole climate issue, when we are moving forward on the path we are now, it will be impossible to achieve this 2 degrees Celsius target that internationally was already agreed upon. So what needs to be done is look into energy efficiency, use your energy in a different way, enhance the position of renewables, and see to it that you phase out fossil fuel subsidies. So it's not only good news that's in World Energy Outlook.
Maria, very nice to see you again. Many thanks for coming in. Maria Van Der Hoeven, the IEA Executive Director. That's it from me. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.